StraighTAllDay.com.
Listening to the show where you learn the discipline to show up day after day, to do the work, the confidence to put yourself out there boldly and authentically, and the mental toughness to continue showing up, doing the work, putting yourself out there, even when the success you've expected to achieve has yet to be achieved. And on top of all this, you get a huge dose of personal initiative, which is the go-getter energy that moves any one of us, including yourself, to go and make things happen instead of waiting for things to happen. And then we put all this together into a series of frameworks, approaches, insights, strategies, and techniques, all underneath the umbrella of one unifying philosophy that is called Work on Your Game. My name is Dre Baldwin, also known as Dre All Day, and welcome to the show. And today's topic is how to take matters into your own hands. Before we get into what this means, where it's going, and why you need it, let me remind everybody, I send out this text message every morning free of charge. It is guaranteed to have you focused, sharp, and on point to start your day. Oh, you didn't know about this text message? I apologize you didn't know about it. Well, let's fix that. Well, let me tell you what I call it. First of all, we call this the daily motivation. We don't call it work. We call it the daily motivation. It's free of charge, and I will send it as a text message every single day, free to your phone. So since I know you want this message, here's all you got to do. Send me a text message right now to my number. Here's the number: 305-384-6894. And every morning when the daily motivation text comes out, starting tomorrow morning, because you're a member of my texting community, you'll be receiving this message every day free of charge. You can even respond to any one of these messages and actually get a response from me, because I actually take time every day, go through those messages and respond to a few of them. Maybe not every one of them, but I respond to a good number of them. So that's the daily motivation text. Secondly, Work on Your Game University. That is the only place where you can work with me directly and be coached by me when it comes to strategically planning out what you're doing in your business. Ask me questions to get answers to your questions and your needs in business. Have someone who can hold you accountable. How can you put a system in place that will actually allow you to produce your results over and over and over again in business? And most importantly, as a foundation, make sure that you have the right mindset to take your business where it needs to go. Mindset is the foundational piece that will determine whether you succeed or you fail in business. All of that happens inside of Work on Your Game University. So if you are not yet a member of the university, go to workonyourgameuniversity.com and you will be able to work with me directly. That's the only place where that happens. All that said, today's topic. This topic connects to the executive decisions episode that we just had a few days ago, where I talked about making executive decisions, which was, where is that? Just 3 days ago, making executive decisions, episode 2608. It connects to that. And it's about you taking power and responsibility into your own hands in life, if you dare to do so, because not everybody wants to do that. Because remember, power and responsibility come as a package deal, and ownership, that all comes as a package deal. That responsibility piece, and most people want the power piece, but that responsibility piece, not so easy to handle or manage. So if you dare to do so, then here's how you take matters into your own hands. Let's talk about it. Point number one. Topic again, how to take matters into your own hands. Number one, stop waiting. Number one thing you can do, stop waiting. Delay is one of the great enemies of success. People want to create success, but continually delay taking action on the things that they actually want to do. In life, you are either waiting for the right time, you're waiting for circumstances to be perfect, or you're waiting for somebody else to do something to maybe make your situation better, or to make your circumstances more, let's just say, easier or relatable or conducive to your success. The whole point of taking matters into your own hands is that you are no longer waiting for anyone else to do anything. That's the point of taking matters into your own hands. Stop waiting around for somebody else to make moves, but deciding to make moves by yourself. When you take matters into your own hands, you are no longer operating on other people's schedules, and you start making them operate on your schedule. All right, how does that sound? Some of you who are listening to this, one of your main pet peeves of your current life situation is that you are on somebody else's schedule. Somebody else tells you what to do, when to do it, and how to do it. You don't want to be in that situation anymore. Well, how do you do this? How do you get out of that situation? Number one thing is you make the decision that you're going to take matters into your own hands. This will require you often. It will require you to move before you are ready to move. But at the same time, understanding that you will get ready once you start moving. See, if you had to move or you are told or asked or cajoled to move before you are ready, a lot of times there's resistance that people have to that because they don't quite feel like doing anything just yet. And it's hard to do stuff when you don't feel like doing it. I get it. But the discipline is in moving yourself to do it anyway, even when you don't feel like it, or showing up and giving your best effort, even on your worst day. I call that the third day. If you haven't read that book yet, it is available when you go to thirddaybook.com, or hopefully a bunch of you already got the book. If you don't have the book, get it by going to thirddaybook.com. The book's free, just cover shipping. But moving before you are ready helps you understand that you will get ready once you start moving. In other words, you are acting your way into feeling instead of trying to feel your way into acting. Everybody follow that? If you don't feel like doing something, but you start doing it anyway, eventually you will feel like doing it because your actions got you in the mode of feeling like it. Instead of you waiting until you felt like it and then go try to do it, because who knows when you're going to feel like it. You may not, by the time you feel like it might be the opportunity that you didn't feel like taking advantage of, then the opportunity might be gone. So you got to make sure you're being very smart about using the feel my way into acting process rather than feeling your way into acting. Point number 2. Today's topic, once again, is how to take matters into your own hands. Number 2, decide that you are no longer asking permission. This is a big deal. All of you who are full-time employed right now, you want to become an entrepreneur. Number one difference, or one of the biggest differences between the full-time employee and the full-time entrepreneur is that the full-time entrepreneur does not ask permission. They need not ask permission because they're usually the person in charge. And one of the challenges of being that person in charge is, since you are no longer asking permission, you are responsible for every single thing that takes place because you didn't ask anybody for permission, or nobody told you you could or you couldn't. So everything that happens, whether it's a success or a failure, goes on you. That's how it works. Understand, you cannot assume and maintain a position of power in life if you are asking permission all the time. This is something that I heard. Robert Kiyosaki say in a speech years ago. This is probably shortly after I had read the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad. He was speaking somewhere, and it was just a recorded video, but I heard him saying this. You cannot get into power if you're asking permission. Let me back up. You must be willing to take action, and if necessary, ask for forgiveness after the fact of you taking action. People in positions of power never ask permission. I want you to think about that and think of the most powerful person you know, and then think of the most powerful people you know of. And you look at the way that they move, the way they conduct themselves. Notice that they hardly ever ask anybody for permission because they don't need anybody's permission. They do what they want to do. And they ask for permission maybe somewhere later on down the line, but for the most part, they're not asking any permission because that's how they got in the position of power. Being powerful is not about asking permission or not asking permission. Like it's not, you ask for permission. Let me back up here. When you are in a position of power, you don't have to ask permission at all. And if you do, it's usually as you're doing it more of as a symbolic gesture than you actually needing anybody's permission. Because powerful people do what they want to do. And when you move with that level of boldness and urgency, people tend to move out of your way, do what you say, and follow your lead. Not necessarily because they know your background or history or how great you are, but because they can sense your energy. Being in a position of power is an energetic state. And since most people are ambivalent and hesitant about taking the lead and taking charge, when they come across someone who is bold, aggressive, and looking to take the lead and take charge, they usually end up following that person. Why? Because that person has the energy. They have the energetic state of, this is a person who should be followed. All right, they're carrying themselves like someone who needs to be followed. And again, power is an energetic state. Power is not a job title. It is not a dollar amount. It is not a car. It is not a business suit. It is an energetic state. When people notice that energy in you, they will be willing to follow you. This is how it works. Because most people are ambivalent and hesitant about taking the lead. So if you take the lead, guess what? They'll get behind you. Because it's easier for them to get behind you than it is for them to stand up front and tell everybody else to get behind me. All right, so when they come across someone who's bold and assertive about taking the lead and taking charge, they will follow that individual. Because again, it's the energy, it's not the credentials, not the resume, it's the energy. Easier to follow someone who is taking the lead than it is to be the person who is taking the lead. Let me say that again. It's easier to follow the person who is taking the lead than it is to be the person who is taking the lead. This is why most people are followers and very few people are leaders, because it's much less work to be the follower of the person who is taking the lead. The person taking the lead, they take all the arrows. If there are any arrows that get fired, they take them. Any bullets, they take them, because they're the one on the front line. So it's much easier to stand behind them and do whatever it is that you're going to do than it is to stand in front of people and do what you're going to do. Point number 3, today's topic, once again, is how to take matters into your own hands. Number 3, develop a sense of urgency about achieving your outcomes. You want to take matters into your own hands. Number one thing you're going to need is a sense of urgency about getting things done, because if you don't have a sense of urgency about getting things done, they can just get done whenever they actually happen to happen. Well, it doesn't matter doesn't matter if you do it yourself or not. Somebody else can do it, because there's no urgency. If there's no urgency, then that means it doesn't need to happen right now, which means if someone else wants to drag their feet and get to it when they get to it, well, it is not affecting you because you have no urgency, so why not just let them get to it? You have no need to take things into your own hands. We'll just wait until that person gets around to doing the thing. That's why the urgency matters. You need urgency in order to even feel that there is a need to take things into your own hands. So this is connected to this first point about no longer waiting. Definition of urgency is something that is important and requires swift action. When you believe that something is important enough that there is no need to wait, and you don't have a desire to wait, and that it needs to get done right now, and you actually will not accept anything other than it getting done right now, let me ask you a question. Is that a different energy than just saying, hey, I should do that? No, I should get around to that. I probably do need to do that at some point. Which energy is stronger? The one of the person who says, I need this done, and I need it done right now, which means either this person over here is going to do it, you're going to do it, or I'm going to take it off of both of your hands and I'm going to do it, but it is happening one way or another. Is that energy stronger, or is it the energy of, well, get around to it when you get around to it? It doesn't really matter when you do it. For example, there was a suit that I had recently ordered, and I took the pants of the suit to, the suit got ordered and it came to me via mail, physical mail. And I took the suit to a tailor to get the pants hemmed, and I knew exactly how I wanted them hemmed. And when I saw the tailor, I went to the place that was going to do it. I saw the tailor, and the first question the tailor asked me was, sir, how soon do you need these pants? And I said, there is no rush. Now, I could have told her I need them by, I think I brought them in there on a Saturday. I could have said I need them by Monday, or I need them by Tuesday. And the tailor would have gotten them by Monday or Tuesday done. It just would charge me more money. Now, I didn't need them immediately. I wasn't lying when I said there's no rush. She said, all right, they'll be done by next Saturday. And they got done next Saturday. But if I wanted to be a little bit more urgent about it and take matters into my own hands, for example, let's say I needed them by Monday. And I said, hey, it's Saturday afternoon. I need these by Monday. I need these within 48 hours. She would have either said, okay, we'll get them done within 48 hours, but we're going to charge you as an extra $25 to get it done within 48 hours because we consider that a rush job. I would have either said, okay, or she could have said something like, well, sir, look, as soon as we can get these done is by Wednesday. If I really needed them by Monday, what could I have done then? I could have cajoled her into getting them done by Monday, because it's not like it takes her 4 days to actually do the work. It's just she had other jobs in front, and she would have prioritized them in front of mine. I either could have did that, or I could have said, well, give me my pants back. I'm not going to have you do it. I'm going to take it to someone who can get them done by Monday. That's the urgency. If I really needed them that soon. I didn't need them that soon, but I'm just giving you this example. When you believe something is important enough that there is no wait time allowed, and it must happen now, you will have an energy that not only moves you to action, but also influences your action and influences the energies and the attention of the people around you who witness you in action. Can you agree that when you have a sense of urgency about something, people tend to kind of get out of your way and follow you rather than block you and distract you from what you're doing? Usually you don't notice any possible distractions when you really have a sense of urgency about what you're doing. There's a hint there, everybody. If you read between the lines, there's a hint right in that sentence that I just said. The good news about urgency is that you can develop and maintain a sense of urgency about pretty much everything you do if you so choose. So I'm reading between the lines here for you. The good news about a sense of urgency is that you can develop and maintain a sense of urgency about pretty much everything if you so choose. There are some people out there who act and move with a sense of urgency all the time because it's something that any of us can develop as a habit, but it must start as a conscious thought of something that we do on purpose. To develop this habit of always moving with a sense of urgency, it must be a conscious thought at first and us doing it on purpose. You do anything on purpose consistently enough for long enough, it becomes a normal habit, a thing that we do without thinking. We do it naturally and without thinking. So anything you want to make a normal habit, you got to think about it for long enough that you do it many times consistently, and then your subconscious mind takes over and says, okay, I got it. I see that you're doing it. I see you're doing it this way. I'll take over because I see what the pattern is. In other words, you're training your subconscious mind to take things off your hands, and the things your subconscious mind does without you having to think about it, we call them habits. Your habits execute in your life as employees. Remember that habits are your employees. I'll talk about this in my book, Work on Your Game. And any aspect of your life that's not going the way you want it to go, you need to fire some people in that department and replace those employees, your habits, with some new employees, new habits. You see how all that works? Good. Let's recap today's class, which is how to take matters into your own hands. This is connected to the executive decision episode from a couple of days ago about taking your power and responsibility into your own hands in life if you so choose to. Number one, stop waiting. Delay is one of the great enemies of success. People who want to create success but continually delay taking action end up not getting the success. Simple as that. Either you're waiting for the right time, for circumstances to be perfect, for somebody else to do something. Whole point of taking matters into your own hands is that you're no longer waiting. You're taking it into your hands so you could do something with your hands, not just to hold it and do the same thing they were doing. Number two, decide you are no longer asking permission. This is an energy. This is a state of being. You cannot assume and maintain a position of power in life if you are asking permission all the time. You have to be willing to take action and, if necessary, ask for forgiveness after you get done doing what you need to do. Most of the time, people won't even ask you for forgiveness or demand forgiveness for you. They'll be impressed by the fact that you took something into your own hands and got something done, as opposed to what most people do, which is hold things in their hands and get nothing done and just talk about what they might do but never actually do it. And number three, develop a sense of urgency about achieving your outcomes. This is connected to the first point about no longer waiting. Urgency means something that is important and requires swift action. When you believe something is important enough, there is no need to wait and that it needs to get done right now, you carry yourself with a certain energy, and not only moves you to action, but influences your action and also influences the energy and the attention of the people who see you in action. And there are some people out there who act and move with a sense of urgency all the time, and they developed it. And the reason why is because they developed it as a habit, same thing that you could do, but you have to choose to do it consciously for long enough that your habitual, your instincts and your subconscious mind takes over and realizes what you're doing, and then it will make it a normal thing in your life. But all that said, text me, let me know the best idea you got from today's class. My number is 305-384-6894. Secondly, Work on Your Game University. That is the only place where you can get coached directly by and work with me. Get access to my best training, my best insights, and accountabilities on mindset, strategy, systems, and execution. All of that and more, a whole lot more, is available to you as a member of Work on Your Game University. Join by going to workonyourgameuniversity.com. Work on your game. Dre all day.